Season 11 has changed quite a bit about the Sea of Thieves, but when it comes to the merchant commendations, they're pretty straightforward with contracts and cargo run voyages, but some do take focused attention like cabin fever or the get wrecked commendation, and a few others. Not yet. There's a lot to cover here, but before we got started, we had to look the part and do some research to see what kind of information was already easily attainable online, so I'm not wasting your time spinning my wheels or going down massive rabbit holes. There is a lot of information already available, like the 13 shipwreck routes, and I don't want to steal other people's ideas or work, so I'm going to try to breeze past a lot of these topics, and also the general care for cargo and animals, so that I can focus on the less searchable topics. There's not a lot of mystery involved with the Lost Shipment voyage. It's completed when you find the manifest, which means that the manifest can't be stolen until you touch it. And don't be alarmed if you get to your destination and all you see is the manifest floating in the water. You can still handle the manifest to complete the voyage, it just won't help you get cabin fever. Just don't forget to grab the key along the route or drop it in the water. We've had it disappear on us once. And if you haven't completed the 13 routes, find the list of routes online, then try to remember some that you've already done and position your ship near the origin or destination of the ones that you haven't already completed. And no, you're not crazy. The birds do get more sparse as you get farther into the voyage. We discovered in my previous video that a nautical mile is about 3.5 map squares, so as long as you have a voyage voted down, you will earn miles for the Sailor of the Merchant Alliance commendation. The cargo run commendations are pretty simplistic as far as delivering 200 cloths, plants, and rum in perfect condition, with an extra commendation for doing so as a pirate legend. As you'd probably expect, randomly discovered cargo doesn't count toward a voyage completed, but they can count as cargo delivered in perfect condition, and they don't have an expiration date, unlike the voyage cargo, which has a contract that will expire in 6 in-game days. Delivering the cloths, plants, and rum in perfect condition is the main priority for cargo runs, making these voyages less PvP or even PvE friendly. But you can't always help that, so you'll need to be prepared to become a merchant of death and accept that not all cargo runs are going to be successful, especially with rum bottles being fragile enough to lose their status of perfection with only 21 jumps. But as long as you can avoid cannonballs smashing into your ship, the safest place for your cloths and rum is on your quest table, with your plants in a separate place, obviously so that you can water them without damaging the cloths. Be careful of keeping cargo in the bottom barrel in your sloop though, because you can get trapped reading the note while trying to swap your weapons, and I really don't want to talk about why I know that. If you enjoy a good rowboat adventure, you can always row your cargo to the destination while your crewmate deals with the action. Although it doesn't make a lot of sense, rowing a rowboat won't cause enough splash to ruin the cloths or water the plants, but having the cargo in a rowboat attached to your ship will help water your plants and can potentially ruin your cloths if you take too much time to make the delivery or go through a storm. Regardless of whatever condition your cargo is in, you can at least turn it in for voyage credit. And I didn't even mention that you also have to repeat all of these cargo runs in the Devil's Roar. I'm so sorry.
Do you like chickens?
Delivering the animals really comes down to ignoring your inner pirate and voting on the voyages. During testing, we discovered that there's about a 50% chance of receiving a contract to capture 1 golden animal. This is really helpful if you still need the Merchant of Grand Fauna commendation. And the golden variety is also the most valuable, so it's worth it to re-roll a voyage for the gold. The Founder Merchant contract will always give you 2 of the same animal at a small island, or you could choose the Executive Voyage to collect 4 of 2 different animals from a larger island. These refurbished voyages will usually send you to the closest island depicted by the voyage. Unless you're too close to that island, then it will send you to the next closest. And just like with cargo runs, these contracts will also expire in 6 days. Whichever voyage you choose, the crates to collect your animals will now spawn on the island, and thankfully the harpoon won't hurt the animals, but unfortunately cannonballs still do. I'm really not proud of this next part, but we also confirmed that the quality of food does not affect the lifespan of your pigs, so you can save your pineapples. Oh, one just sat down.
Okay.
The second one just sat
Which
down.
one?
The front row.
Front rows?
The whole front row. It's
Back row too.
it's going in order. Just to be thorough, we also double-checked the experiment on the ship to make sure it wasn't some weird being too close to the island phenomenon. And we found that it doesn't matter how loudly your pigs are squealing for food, as long as they're alive, they're gonna count for your commendation. You can also target specific animals if you know which islands spawn the animal that you need. For example, if you spawn at Flutter Outpost, you will get snakes and pigs from Snake Island. But if you move your ship past the Sovereign Stock, you will get chickens and pigs from Thieves Haven. As for the chances of getting permavenomed, it doesn't seem like the color of the snake correlates to more potent venom. We got bit by a lot of snakes, and most of them just had the 15-second venom, and there was no way to predict which snakes would be more aggressive or which ones would have the more potent venom lasting up to a full minute. Just keep in mind that you can always heal from their venom, but you will need to keep your friendlier animals away from the snakes because it turns out that they can hurt them.
Be careful with those snakes.
There was a special request for the supply delivery commendations, and after looking at my numbers, I have to admit...
I do not know that answer right now, but I will do everything in my power to get that information for you. Please hold.
If you're like us, for the past few years you've probably ignored every merchant contract that used to be commonly found in barrels while saying to yourself,
Ain't nobody got time for that!
now that Season 11 has removed quests from barrels, removed supply deliveries from voyage options, and they aren't even given us emissary quests, the supply delivery commendation seems nearly impossible to complete. But not impossible. I'm glad to at least be able to say that I have found a way to make these quests viable. I'm just gonna need a little bit more time to wrap it up in a pretty bow in another video because I think it deserves some very special attention. Anyway, I hope something in this video was helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I am so grateful to everyone who subscribed, liked, commented, and shared the last video. I am really looking forward to this next one, and I hope you are too.
Help them.
Watch them be like the sweatiest people.
Yeah, they're luring us in.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this guy. He's fishing. That's what's happening. Get them fish. Steal them. Let's go. He sees us. Oh my god.
He doesn't know that we stole it yet.